again, bringing into the light those who are maybe excessively charging for propane. I also think that it would be great if the county could consider utility costs, particularly in senior parks, like other counties have done. Water, sewer, as an example, typically in your senior communities, the average persons per household is much lower than a typical all-age community, and therefore the Sacramento County is a good example. They have on a age-restricted community that's verified as a 55 plus or 62 plus HOPA certified community, can petition for and reduce the costs of water and sewer that are passed through and charged to residents. We've done that in every case where we've been available. The beast must be fed, so it does have to be kind of worked into the housing element, but I think as we're looking into that over time, I really encourage the county to consider that for the senior communities, is lowering costs for 55 plus and 62 plus communities in the county, because it makes sense. The nexus is there. They're using less water, they're using less sewer. To an extent, they might be using less trash, although that can be mitigated with the size of cans. And then again, making sure that someone is monitoring the propane providers in the county. I ran my head into the wall repeatedly trying to find out who regulates propane providers. It doesn't seem like there's anyone. And we practically, you were there, Tammy, we practically had to go to the mat to kick one out of one of our communities and bring someone else in and save people 50% maybe on average, just in what they were being charged for the same exact commodity. So I would love for the county to look into that. I think it's worthwhile. And then can I just say one more idea, building on John's comment about the property tax step up. It's a huge deal. It's probably the single greatest impact on initial rent increases following a park sale. And this isn't my idea, so I want to give credit to Lars McAdoo, one of the great Southern California families who's been in the mobile home park industry for many, many decades. He came up with this idea in one of our brainstorming sessions, and if we had a willing participant in the county, I think it would be really good, a bilateral agreement between county assessor and park that upon a sale, if the county would allow, say, like a 5-year phase-in of that property tax increment, as long as the park agreed to phase in the incremental rent associated with that property tax increase, it does require some investment in the county, but, or by the county, excuse me, but the residents would benefit, the landlord would get to phase that cost in over time, which would help everybody. Obviously, the county tax assessor probably wouldn't love it too much, but I think if we're all going to try to tackle this together, we're looking for every stakeholder to throw in on this one. And that's one that I really think has legs. I'd like to look into something like that where we could opt in and say, well, we will, as an operator, phase in this rent increase that's directly associated with the property tax increase, as long as the county will do the same for us.
Go ahead, yeah.
I can appreciate the need for additional conversation about creating something that would maybe prevent people from extreme rent increases. But over the last few times that we've been through this, whenever this topic comes up, what I'm hearing is people saying, I don't have enough for my medication, I don't have enough for my food, I might be kicked out of my house, the homelessness, the fear of not being able to make ends meet. And when we had the task force, we worked together with the Senior Services Department, and we came up with a monthly newsletter that made information available to residents of El Dorado County, different programs that were available, what the qualifications to, for certain programs were. Some didn't, all you had to do was contact them. What I feel like where that fell short is that people don't want to have to ask. There's a stigma and there's an embarrassment, and even if they get the number or the contact information, they've got to go through all of these steps that it's frustrating to them, and so they don't move forward with what they really need or what they need at that time. So, of course, there's other issues, but trying to address more immediate and close to home issues while we're working on all of this, I feel like is really important to our community and, our citizens in the county.
I can say that in our park, I work with them with PG&E. I make them aware. I brought a food pantry to 2 of the large parks up in Pollock Mountain. We do a lot of that, but it isn't a substitution to known security. And so we have to really address that along with subsidies. Subsidies are wonderful, but again, none of us in this room are looking for a handout. We made a purchase, we budgeted it in our head, we knew what we had to spend, and of course we all expected to have some rent raises. That's, you know, part of life, everything inflates. But again, where the concern is not the average park owner, it's not the average expenses. It's these people who come in with the specific intent to raise the rents rapidly and with no regard to what happens to the residents. All of this conversation is great, and I think we have a lot of great ideas here. But again, we're going to have to find something to clamp down on, as they are using the term, bad actors. And I'm not saying it has to be a big penalty, but just to say that we will look at them and say, what you're doing is bad and you shouldn't do it anymore, is a very unrealistic expectation for them to stop. So there has to be something with some teeth. There has to be something that makes them not want to do it. There has to be a cost to them to do it. And I'm not clear on what cost would be. That's something that maybe this task force could come up with in conjunction with the county. For one, having guidelines on the subsidies that are designed by the county or agreed upon by this group. I think that would be great because, again, that adds teeth. But to just say we're all going to say kumbaya and move on, I have concerns. We really have to look at the bad actors. We have to address their behavior, and then work all this other out is great. But we have to find a way to put some teeth into stopping these folks that are doing what they're doing now. And that's my concern.
Any comment from anybody? Well, we have, I counted, we have 8 things that were brainstormed through this process. They all have value. I would probably like to see all little increments or large increments of all these things occur. Everything from an ordinance to propane, water, sewage. How do we look at expanding spaces? There's still a lot to talk about. I think I was trying to remember how many Zoom calls I've been with you. I think it's probably like a bazillion.
And you came in at the end.
I came in at the end. I did come in at the end. And of all of those calls, those Zoom meetings that we have, this has been the richest out of everything that I've been a part with you. And having you all here in person, what a difference that makes. And this is the first time that I've been out in public like this in a year now. So yeah, for a lot of us, I think this is the first time. And this is what happens when community comes together. The synergy starts to build, we start to build direction, and then we go to solution, and then we solve it, and then we go on to the next thing. And we will get to solution on this. We have to. There's no other choice.
I did want to say I appreciated Andy's efforts towards the propane issue. It was brought to his attention via me. When I moved into our park, they were charging us $6 per gallon in the summer.
I mean, you should let everybody know that you lived in his park.
In his park.
So
Well,
he's the park owner.
It's like you know those doors to knock on it, so it's like, hello.
but it was incredible price gouging. I had people coming to me saying that they were sitting in their homes underneath blankets in down jackets because they couldn't afford the propane. And Andy stepped up and got them out of our park. And so work in that area would be greatly appreciated by many because I know that's been a problem as well.
So we still have a lot of work to do. Shannon, the comment that you made about there's a lot of people that won't ask for help. We know that. And it's how do we reach them to let them know that they don't necessarily have to ask. that we're there to help anyone.
Right.
And we find out from people like you that know of a neighbor that their glasses broke and they don't have the funds to replace it. And they give us a call and we get them a new pair of glasses. Or the car is having a problem, we'll help get it fixed. But it's when we collaborate like this as a community that really makes a difference. And that's how we move forward. There is a wrap-up that I think the supervisors are gonna do.
So are we gonna take some questions? We had the questions that were submitted and handed those to.
No, how we're gonna do the questions is, we have accumulated all the questions. We're gonna put them back to you as the panelist and let you arrive at a consensus of the answers. And then we're gonna put those up on the foundation's website. A lot of them were comments rather than questions. And so we wanna make sure that we address this in a very encompassing way. And we'll also have a recording of this evening's session. So thank you. I'm going to turn it over to the big cheeses.
Thank you, Bill, you were great.
Yes, thank you.